While I was in college, I discovered the power of making. I'm going to share a little bit about my story and how you can use making yourself. The setting, Madison, Wisconsin, my junior year in college. On the phone with my mom. You're gonna major in art. What do you do with an art major, honey? Teach? I had no idea, and I knew nothing about the art world, but I was soaking it in quicker than anything I had been passionate about before. Up until that point, my passion had been running. My life was looking a little like this. Eventually, I did give up my near full-ride scholarship on the track and cross-country teams to pursue my newfound interest in art. It was the hardest decision of my life. I had left behind 12 years of running and a group of incredible women who were national champions and Olympians. But I learned through my running career that to find success, you give your all. And I approached this unknown art world with the same determination. What I loved about being an art major in college was that I was making things with my hands. I was trying out all these different materials and tapping into an immense history of creativity that had endless possibility. I just kept working with my hands, and eventually making became a way for me to share, connect, and grow. But growing can be tough. Later that year, I found myself at a personal low. I had lost my job. I'd lost my home. I was sleeping in the basement of the art building trying to figure out how to pull myself out of this predicament. While in a printmaking class, a graduate student was sharing her own personal horrific life experience that she had expressed through some art. And I was so frustrated, and I could just feel the negative energy hanging over me. And then I realized, yes, people need to make things to work through dark times, but that was not for me. I did not want to make things that focused on my worst moments. I decided then that if I were to make things and put them out into the world, they would focus on my best moments, on happy, sweet, fun, beautiful moments. A couple years later, when I took my drawings and I painted them on some pottery, I remembered this realization, and I virtually connected the dots. I found my voice in clay. That's what making can do for you. It can help you work through something tough or cheer you up. It's a way to take some ideas and thoughts and turn them into something solid and real that you can look at. It's not always easy, and it's not going to be perfect, but it sure can help you work through something tough or cheer you up. Fast forward about 10 years. I've immersed myself in clay. I am teaching kids clay club classes. I am working at the Archie Bray Foundation. I am making my pottery on the side. I fell in love. I married my husband, Matt. We had a kid we named Clayton. Everything was growing and getting better. My brother, Bobby Free, joined forces with Matt and I, and we started our family business, Free Ceramics. This is us pretending to be the Brady Bunch. We were doing more, making more. The kids' classes were expanding. More artists were getting involved. We started this exhibition called This is Helena, where all artists in the Helena area are invited to participate. And we have over 100 artists in this show. It's incredible. And we needed more space. So in 2014, Matt and I stretched beyond our comfort zone. We wrote a letter to the owners of an old funeral home and asked them if they would consider selling to us. But there was a catch. We could only afford a certain monthly payment, and they had to float the loan until we convinced the bank we were legit. This building, it was perfect. It had this big chapel area that would be perfect for gatherings and all this space for private studios. And we debated it for months before we sent that letter. But We were shocked when the very next day we heard the owners had accepted our terms. All of a sudden, we had to take this dead building and turn it into a lively space. And we did it. Oh my gosh, we launched an online fundraiser. We raised nearly $30,000 from our community to help support this adventure. We had all of our friends chip in time and energy to bring this commercial building to code. This is the newly remodeled space where TEDxHelena is hanging. Oh, it's so cool. So now we had the space to bring our town together. And we gather for music and classes and fundraisers and meetings and kids' classes and lots of making. Now, in life, I feel like I'm pretty happy. And I realized this while noticing a lot of unhappiness around me. And I decided to do some research and figure out why. I researched happiness for this entire past year. And you know what I found out? Oh, I brought a list. Happiness. Oh, there is so much out there about happiness. Oh my gosh. I learned that the act of researching does not make me happy. I learned about a field of science and an industry of self-help that can be quite expensive to the consumer and overwhelming to a non-researcher. I learned that my dad loves the book The Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama. All of this research solidified my idea that happiness comes when we make it. It doesn't come when we're reading about it or searching for it on the computer or waiting for it. It takes hard work and it takes time. And you can use your hands, dedicate that time, and make the world you want to live in. I'm an artist and I have this studio where we make a lot of happiness. A couple summers ago, these kids, we have this summer art camp where at the beginning of the week, we made pottery out of clay, these plates. And then at the end of the week, we made sushi, and they did all of it. They made the rice, they cut the veggies, they rolled the sushi, and then we sat at this big, long table and ate off our handmade pots. To me, this is a picture of happiness. These kids, they made their happiness every day that week. Wouldn't it be cool if we all did that? Well, you can. There's lots of things you can do to try and make happiness for yourself. You can try woodworking or fly tying or baking a pumpkin pie. You need to put down that phone, get off the computer, and use your hands. It's totally worth it. It's amazing. You'll figure out something about yourself and maybe make the world a little bit better. Making happiness is a lifelong quest. Once you find it, it just doesn't stick around and you get it indefinitely. It takes constant work. And right now, our world needs a lot more happiness. So get out there and make some.